Priceless moment from yesterday's hearing on censorship industrial complex, folks. Senator John Kennedy took radical Democrat professor Dr. Mary Ann Frank to task for her revealing social media posts. Watch.
The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy. Close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this.
Did you say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but what is the relevance of that to this hearing?
Big as Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have is
to me like you have your favorite feeling is anger.
Big as Dallas. For more on this, let's welcome in Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. Sir, it's great to have you. I have a lot to talk with you in a very short period of time, so let's get right to it. These people colluded to try to steal, in my opinion, our First Amendment rights. I think it's just common sense that there ought to be some sort of consequence for such an egregious abridging of our rights, don't you?
Yes, and we had a hearing yesterday. The Democrats invited this professor from George Washington University. She testified as an expert. She said that President Biden did not try to influence people's opinions through social media. She said Trump was guilty. And I asked if it could be possible that her political beliefs were interfering with her judgment, and she said no. So I just read some of her tweets. She's clearly a member of the loon wing of the Democratic Party, and she thinks she's smarter and more virtuous than the American people. And I thought that bringing that point out would demonstrate her absence of credibility, and I think it did. I mean, no offense, she's very smart. Yeah, well, no offense to the professor. She's entitled to her opinion. But, what did Mama Gump say? Stupid is as stupid does. I just don't agree with her point of view.
Well, sir, President Trump calling out PBS and NPR for their waste of and abuse of taxpayer dollars. Watch this.
I would love to do that. I think it's very unfair. It's been very biased with the whole group. I mean, a whole group of them. And frankly, there's plenty. Look at all the media you have right now. There's plenty of coverage. I was from a different age, and they spend more money than any other network of its type ever conceived. So the kind of money that's being wasted, and it's a very biased view.
Senator, you too have been talking about the inappropriate taxpayer funding of these left-wing media organizations, and it was tackled today in the House as well. If a conservative like me can't get taxpayer money, it isn't really fair that leftist media can. Doesn't this left-wing propaganda subsidy finally need to end?
Well, I don't want taxpayer money to subsidize any form of media, left wing, right wing, up wing, down wing, any of them. We spend half a trillion dollars a year, or $500 million a year, giving money to public TV and public radio. Why? I mean, why are we subsidizing them but not other forms of media? That's point one. Point two. We all know what public radio and public TV is like today. They're very diverse. They run from slightly communist to very communist. Now, they're entitled to their point of view, but why do taxpayers have to pay for it? And I would say the same thing if they weren't communist, if they were to the right. I just don't think government has the money to waste anymore. We never did, but it's been going on for a long time. We couldn't stop it under President Biden, but we're going to stop it under President Trump.
Well, sir, you took me right round to go about the overspending. In my view, government is too big. It spends too much of our great-great-grandkids' money and has grown beyond the consent of the governed. Truth be told, we can no longer, we can't rely on Democrats to restrain the power of government and the money it wastes. So it does fall on the Republican Party to show some fiscal restraint, any fiscal restraint. Do you think the GOP is up to the task of returning this government to its constitutional box?
Well, this is the first serious effort in my adult lifetime, maybe my entire lifetime, of Washington, D.C. actually trying to control its spending. And you can thank President Trump and Elon Musk for that. We've never been able to do it without getting Democratic cooperation because of the way the Senate's set up. But we're going to try to do it through, as you know, what's called reconciliation. For 4 years under President Biden, look at the numbers. Since 2019, our population in America has gone up 2%. Our budget's gone up 55%. The only question that President Biden ever asked was, who needs to pay more in taxes? We're now asking the question, a new question. What the hell happened to all the money? And we're going to reduce the spending, and I think it's long overdue.
Amen. Your Democrat colleagues, sir, from my perspective, have lost their minds. They're applauding terrorism against Tesla and reverting to calls for violence in the society. Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett actually saying your colleague and my senator, Ted Cruz, should be, quote, knocked over the head. She demanded that Elon Musk be, quote, taken down as a gift for her birthday. And then she mocked Governor Greg Abbott's disability, being confined to a wheelchair, calling him Governor Hot Wheels. What do you think the best way to address this unhinged Democrat Party is?
Well, let me say, I don't hate anybody. When I say my prayers, I ask God, don't let me hate, because it's hard sometimes in Washington. I don't know the Congresswoman Crockett, I think you said her name was. I don't know her. She's entitled to her opinion, but I'm entitled to mine. And I think, I've said this before, I think the Republicans' secret weapon ought to be called Operation Let Them Speak. As far as I'm concerned, I would turn the Congresswoman loose and let her keep talking. She's making our case for us. She's a member of the loon wing of the Democratic Party. All Democrats aren't like that, but the loon wing is in control. And they got beat in the election. And I thought they'd hit rock bottom, but apparently rock bottom has a basis. Now, so as far as I'm concerned, it's great. Has a basement. I mean, it's good. All this is great for the Republican Party, all this lunacy, but it's bad for America, and I wish they'd stop it. But, just from a political standpoint, you never interfere with your enemy when he's kicking his own ass.
Yeah, well, amen, sir. I have about a minute and a half left, sir. I just want to get this last question in. I want to get philosophical with you on this last question. I've been a fan of yours for many moons. You have a manner about you that gets to the nub of an issue, but you do it with a smile on your face and a classic, as everybody can see. Very much in the style, in my opinion, of Benjamin Franklin. I think we need more of you and less of the squad, in that's your liberty-loving Latinos opinion here. What is the proper role, in your opinion, of those in government if they're playing by the John Kennedy playbook?
Just tell the truth and say what you believe. The American people are plenty smart. Now, they don't read Aristotle every time because they're busy earning a living. They're busy getting up every day and going to work and obeying the law, paying their taxes, trying to do the right thing by their kids. But they can figure all this out, and we saw them figure it out in the last election. I've got this adage that I try to live by: always be yourself, unless you suck. And if you suck, there's nothing you can do about it. I just try to be myself, and I mean it. I don't hate anybody. When I say my prayers at night, I ask God, don't let me hate. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to mine. The difference between me and many of the loon wing of the Democrats is that I trust the American people to figure it out on their own, and they always do.
Now, Senator Kennedy, it's been an honor to have you here, sir. Come back soon, and we can talk about some more issues. It's appreciated.
Thank you, Chris.